In today's audio experience, Lou and I are going to be going through 20 different mind blowing songs, and we're going to be going in depth about the writing. We're going to be going in depth about the backstories, and even some of them have this incredible production that we feel like you guys should be hip to. And what's interesting is that we did this episode on YouTube, and Lou and I kind of did like a combined list of 10 different songs that we wanted to talk about. But for this audio episode, it's going to be a bit of a different experience if you did watch that YouTube one, because in today's episode, Lou and I are going to go 10 for 10. So you brought in 10, I brought in 10. And let me ask you, when creating this list, it was a different process, right? Because you did your own separate one, I did my separate one. So were you looking for different types of songs in different genres, something with strong writing, backstory? Like, what were you going for with your 10 different songs for today?
Yeah, it was definitely all hip hop for myself. I brought in 10 different hip hop songs. And I mean, listen, I'm looking for whatever could blow my mind musically, right? So sometimes it's going to be a plot twist within the narrative of a song. Sometimes it's going to be the concept of the track as a whole. In other cases, it's going to be a rapper who is spitting over a very unconventional instrumental that I feel like no one else can rap over. There's a bunch of different reasons, but ultimately, like, this is subjective because a song could blow your mind but not blow mine, right? So it comes down to whatever speaks to the person. But yeah, man, I mean, some of these for myself, even the one I'll start off with, like, it was almost more mind-blowing to me just because I never knew it existed. And then when you listen to it, you're like, I can't believe these people got together to make this art and I didn't even know about it. So that was something else to consider. But I do want to say this. Songs like Dance with the Devil by Immortal Technique, Stand by Eminem, How Much a Dollar Costs by Kendrick Lamar, Mural by Lupe Fiasco, For Your Eyes Only by J. Cole, I Gave You Power by Nas, 90210 by Travis Scott, etc. These are all songs that we actually brought into that YouTube version that we did a while ago. So in case you didn't watch that and you're wondering where are those songs, there was a prior installment of this. But what about you? What went into it for you?
I think it was just like, if a song has the ability to leave you speechless at the end of it, or it's so different than anything you've ever heard, or if the writing is so impressive, like, that's what kind of checked the box for me, where it's like, wow, this has a unique feel to it. This is something that I feel like can't be replicated, and it's something like I've never heard before, right? Because I feel like there's certain mind-blowing songs, like, let's say, like, I'll fuck up some commas, right? The first time I heard that song, like, I was fucking mind-blown for the type of energy and the production that came out of it. But at the same time, it's like, I can name you certain songs that do feel maybe similar to that one. So I tried to go based on feeling, to be honest with you, and certain song concepts that, like, not many other artists could replicate. I feel like that was another big criteria for me. But I'm going to start you guys off with a light one. By the way, I have 3 songs that are outside of the genre, so I also tried to get a bit of diversity into my list. The first song I have for today is actually a song that I discovered 2 weeks ago. So I was in Mont-Tremblant, I was eating dinner at a sushi restaurant, and, like, usually when you go to good restaurants, they have good music playing, and, like, it's a big criteria for me in, like, a restaurant experience, right? And in this restaurant, they were playing a lot of, like, trance music. They were playing a lot of house and EDM and dance music. And at a certain point, there was a song that came on, and, like, as soon as I heard the snare pattern, I'm like, oh, bro, it's gonna be crazy. And it's called I Nam Amensuro, and it's the Henrik Schwartz blend. And this is basically a 9-minute instrumental song, and it's just so mind-blowing because of how layered it is. It's complex, it's an instrumental heavy track, and the vocals come in and out of it, but it's interesting because you have this beautiful lead in the vocals from, I guess it's a sample or whatever the case may be, because there's no live vocals that are credited on the track. Comes 2 minutes into it. They're very grandiose, it feels very celebratory, but also there's this beautiful captivating bass line that rings off throughout the instrumental. There's also these crazy synths that come in and out of the production that create the main melody for it. And then after that, you find this new drum pattern that comes in 3 minutes into the song. But the reason why I find it so mind-blowing is that, like, there's all this type of, like, different dynamic sounds that are coming in and out of the production, and it's so well mixed. The panning on the mix is so beautiful, and it's just like 9 minutes of pure bliss, bro. It's long, but it feels like you're listening to the song for 3 minutes and you just can't get enough of it. So I wanted to bring it in. It's a different type of experience. You guys might not fuck with it, maybe if you're solely hip-hop heads or whatever the case may be, but as an instrumental, it is mind-blowing to me. And, like, I've been bumping and junking it since. So it's kind of more of like a recency bias thing, but I really wanted to find an episode to fit this song into.
All
So
right, awesome. Yeah, my first pick is going to Be Somebody by Clams Casino featuring ASAP Rocky and Lil B. I don't know if you ever heard this, but came out in 2016. And one day I was just like, well, you know what? Clams Casino is such an underrated producer. I want to see if he has any solo material, and maybe there's like some hidden gems that I
mhm.
never really knew about. And what do I know? I end up finding a song with ASAP Rocky. And to me, like, and I feel like to a lot of the Rocky fan base, Clams Casino has always been seen as like his best collaborator, as the producer that understands him the best and that has provided him with the best soundscapes when you're looking at his overall artistry. So it was such a pleasant surprise, even just to find this song and to know that it exists, because it happened to me this year. But yeah, the song comes from Clams' 2016 album 32 Levels, which has a lot of features on it, but there's only one song with a Rocky feature. And the song's mind-blowing to me, more so for the production than anything else, because of the atmosphere that's being laid out. It sounds like this futuristic dystopia where you have this very hypnotizing instrumental that has these chopped up vocal bits that play throughout the track.
Is it something similar to like a Live Love ASAP sort of aesthetic?
Yes, but like a bit more nuanced. There's a few more elements involved. Like it
I see.
sounds maybe a bit more grandiose as well. You have these otherworldly synths that come in, an explosive bass line. It's really a trip of a production, but it definitely is in that like cloud rap realm, you could say. And then Rocky comes in with these absolutely dreamy vocals, singing about a beautiful girl, and then he goes into his braggadocious self, just spazzing about his drip and about all the fly shit that he usually does. He's got two verses. He smokes both of them. And then also gets deep with the lyrics, starting to rap about like the joy of making his parents proud of him and also thanking the Lord for his blessings. Like, I was surprised that you got so many layers of ASAP Rocky as well. That was another aspect that was mind blowing. Is like, wow, you're getting him on his melodic shit, you're getting Rocky on his introspective bag, but also on his braggadocious bag. And then you have Lil B who comes in, and that's what I love the most about all of this, is that you're getting the three-headed monster of cloud rap. You're getting Clams Casino, Lil B, and ASAP Rocky. You're getting all the founding fathers at the same table, making a banger of a song. And I don't know how this song is never spoken about. It's one of those songs that really went under the radar for so many people, and it will blow your mind. Like I said, production wise and for the Rocky performance. So it's something that I know you would really fuck with.
I'm gonna play it in the car
Yeah.
after we leave the studio. But okay, let me go into my second song, Doctor Whoever by Amine. I
W.
felt like I needed to bring this in, especially after we did like the episode on the best and worst songs from rappers. I coined this as his best ever song, and you were somewhat in agreements with me because I believe you had what? You
I had
had
Burden or Doctor Whoever. That was the debate for me.
those were those two
Yeah.
picks. But for me, like this is the clear number one, alongside Burden as well. Pressure in My Palms. You could find all kinds of fantastic tracks in Amine's catalog, but like I find what's so interesting about Amine is that, people are maybe hip to Limbo, right? Because that was a huge commercial success for him, and like that's a huge fan favorite. Or maybe like you're into more of his mainstream stuff like a Reel It In or a Caroline. Or maybe you just got hip to him in 2023 with K Tremine, and that's the album that kind of got you into his catalog. But I feel like for his mainstream appeal, this was an interesting move because when he first put out this song and he explained this to Genius, he said that he really wanted Doctor Whoever to be the starting track on this album because 1.5 has like a bit more of a commercial appeal with songs like Reel It In and so on and so forth, that he wanted to have a unique experience to start off the album, and Doctor Whoever is nothing short of that because when you go into the writing, it's such a genius fucking concept, and I'm not sure if this has ever been done in hip hop. A lot of rappers that have advocated for mental health, for example, like a Kid Cudi or a Mac Miller, they've made fantastic song concepts around mental health and about self-care and about, getting your help and moving past, the trials and tribulations of life and mental health. But with this, it's interesting because Amine takes it and flips it into a concept to where you become the therapist for him, and it's almost like you're sitting in the doctor chair and he's asking you questions. And I find that to be such a unique, song concept. Not only that, but the sample that's played him back, that's actually his vocals, bro. And he revealed it on a Genius interview.
That's
And he
sick.
said that a lot of people always thought that it was this crazy soul sample, whatever the case may be. But he laid down the framework for all of the production. And then after that, his producers just came in, added drums, and made it what it is today, as this beautiful backdrop to him talking to you about his life problems. And he also said that the concept of the song is super special for him because he never went to go see a therapist. He was never able to do it, or he just never felt the need to go. But at the same time, like, he felt like this was a song concept that he had to put out to the world. And I always felt like it was such a unique and mind blowing concept, and it serves a beautiful purpose for his listeners. So that's gonna be my second song for today.
Yeah, man, love that song. But yeah, next up for me, and by the way, guys, I think I could speak for both of us. There's no order here. Like, this is really just 20,
Oh yeah,
20
for
mind
sure,
blowing songs.
absolutely.
Next up for me is gonna be "All That I Got Is You" by Ghostface Killah featuring Mary J. Blige. This came out in 1996. This was on Ghostface Killah's debut album, Iron Man. And the reason why I think it's mind blowing to me is that when you listen to Wu-Tang Clan's material, when you listen to Ghostface Killah's material, this song is like, it's one in a million. Like, you're not finding songs with this subject matter, with this feeling. It's a rarity within his catalog, and I think that's why it'll blow a lot of people's minds that maybe haven't heard Iron Man in a while, that maybe aren't very, very familiar with Ghostface Killah. And it's a beautiful hip hop and R&B crossover track, and like I said, it's one of the only of its kinds in Ghostface's entire catalog. And the song was written by Ghost as a tribute track for his mother, and he takes us through like flashbacks of him living without his father, of him fighting through poverty, how his mother did the best job she could to raise the family. And I think what really makes it mind-blowing is like the extreme heartbreaking details that he breaks down of what his mother had to do, what he had to endure to survive his environment and to really pursue his dreams. And you're getting lyrics like, you know, two brothers with muscular dystrophy, check it, 15 of us in a 3-bedroom apartment, roaches everywhere, cousins and aunts was there, 4 in the bed, 2 at the foot, 2 at the head. And it's writing that like that where I'm like, this is priceless. Like, I'm not getting many rappers that are really divulging that much about what their upbringing was like, and to hear it in such graphic detail from Ghostface Killah, it was a breath of fresh air because he's not always getting in this bag. Apart from that, the instrumental is also absolutely beautiful. You're getting these somber piano keys, these orchestral strings. And yeah, it's not only a song that will blow your mind, but it's one that'll touch your soul as well. So had to bring that one in. What do you got next?
Huge W. All right, let me go on to the next one. I absolutely adore this song, and I've been a big fan of it since I was a child, like getting into hip hop. And this is gonna be My Fault by Eminem off the Slim Shady LP. I really wanted to bring in a storytelling concept. I really feel like that's where my mind is blown a lot of the times, and within hip hop, it's my favorite types of song concepts. And I go into these tracks, and you're just captivated from start to finish, but in a different way, right? It almost feels like you're watching a movie. And you got the stands of his catalog, you have As the World Turns, you have Sing Song and Dance. There's popular ones within his catalog, but I feel like this song really goes under the radar for a lot of people. It doesn't have a lot of streams either. It's on my personal favorite Eminem album, which is the Slim Shady LP, and the concept is absolutely hilarious, bro. So obviously the Slim Shady alter ego was still in development for the Slim Shady LP. He really took that project to bring that character to life and bring it to the forefront for mainstream listeners. And I feel like songs like this really encapsulate what Slim Shady means, because basically he goes to this party with his friends, and it's like this cool setting, right? It almost feels like you're watching what the fuck's that movie called, bro? Oh my god, with Stickler.
Well, American Pie.
Yeah, it almost feels like an American Pie scene. That's the way that I could best describe this song, where like he goes in, he meets this girl, and like he feeds her mushrooms, but at a certain point she takes absolutely too much, and like he's on this wild ride of a night, trying to like stop her from like, ending her life, or stopping her from doing these fucking crazy things. And like by the time the third verse ends, like he's so fucked off of shrooms as well that he thinks the girl's dead, but you can't OD from shrooms. But the girl's absolutely passed out for how much she took. But the reason why I find it so mind-blowing is because it becomes this introduction to what Eminem could do with his lyricism, how vivid he could be, the type of imagery and storytelling he could put into a song and into those 3 verses. And you also get like this really cool and fun and lighthearted hook that's kind of sandwiched between everything. And it's like, what's the next scene going to be? It's almost like this play-by-play of like an American Pie scene. And I really find that to be an interesting concept within hip-hop. It's unique for his catalog. It's unique for the genre. I also love the production from Bass Brothers as well. So it's definitely in my list. And I wanted to bring in something that was like popular, but that maybe people haven't visited in a long time that you might get a kick out of, at least for this episode.
Yeah, I love the hook on that song too, even though it's not your traditional, top 40 radio kind of
No, no,
chorus,
no.
but
There's not much mass appeal with this one, but
it's
regardless, though,
yeah.
it's one of the best storytelling cuts in his entire catalog.
All right, next one, the song that's gonna be the newest song on my entire list is gonna be "Drunk Prayer" by Mavi.
You know, I was
Incredible
thinking about
song,
bringing this in.
incredible song, bro. I mean,
Top 10 song of the year, low key, bro.
yeah, it might really get that. So yeah, this is off of his latest album, Shadowbox, and I mean, there's so much that makes the song mind blowing. Starting off with just the sonic composition, the vocal arrangements, it's all breathtaking, and even the concept of the song itself, right? It's Mavi who's making a really moving song about trying to struggle to understand what his purpose is in life and how he's coping with all of the questions that he has, all of the trials and tribulations. And he does that through numbing his pain with alcohol. And yeah, I love his emotive rapping style throughout the track and how he's searching for meaning by trying to have these spiritual experiences and trying to it feels like experiment with faith and see if that's gonna lead him down the right path for him and what he's trying to accomplish. And I want to give a shout out to Angelo Leroy for producing. He gives you some nice light and slow paced guitar riffs, some low key bass. Kind of sounds like a musical baptism where you're getting this gospel like energy, and it feels like we're entering a beautiful new place that Mavi hasn't explored yet. And it seems like it's his first time being there. And you're also getting beautiful background vocals by Jordan Ward. And on the outro, you have three singers whose voices are all merging like together at the same time, very harmoniously. You have Jordan Ward, Mavi, and Amindi. And yeah, this song, like I said, it feels like you're being taken to church, and it's mind blowing for the way the vocals all intertwine, for the way the composition is laid out, and for getting that perspective from someone like Mavi who's at that coming of age time in his life where he's really trying to figure out what the bigger purpose is. And I feel like he really is making music that's relatable to a lot of people. So
I feel like he reached a new level of artistry with this track list, bro. Low
he
key.
did, yeah.
There's beautiful concept songs that are woven into all of his shit, but like this one was very interesting, especially to see like his tonality throughout the song as well. I remember on the first live reaction, I was like, dude, like this is such a sick song for his catalog, and I think it's gonna crack my top 10 low key.
Yeah,
It's one of the best written songs of the year, so that's a huge W. But let's keep going on with this. Next song I'm gonna go on to is "Lost Ones" by J. Cole. So this was a song that we didn't include in our first installment of the YouTube episode, but I do feel like this is a mind-blowing concept, especially for J. Cole's catalog, and it becomes a precursor for other storytelling tracks and cautionary tales that you will find within his discography in later albums. And basically, Lost Ones is a dialogue between a young couple who've just found out that, hey, they're having a baby and they're expecting a baby. And it's so interesting because J. Cole takes three different perspectives. He takes the perspective of the man, then he takes the perspective of the woman, and then after that he takes a neutral standpoint. And basically the song itself becomes this storytelling track that becomes a precautionary tale for couples to be safe while they do things, and to kind of have people relate to that message and relate to being in that type of, I would say, difficult but beautiful time in their life where it's like there's a lot of uncertainty, there's this balance that may have been broken in your lives, but there's this light that goes forward with it. But I've always loved it as a song concept. Often we talk about Wet Dreams of For Your Eyes Only, let's say, being the best storytelling cuts within his catalog. But even Cole himself said in an interview that this is one of his favorite ever songs that he's written because it's so personal. It's beautiful. It explains the concept of life, and it explains how difficult it could be for a couple to have to go through something as challenging as that. So I wanted to bring it in. I think it's a mind-blowing concept. And what's cool too, bro, I always admired this. It's self-produced by Cole too. And apparently it was something that could have made Friday Night Lights. I never knew that as well, but it ended up making the sideline story. But yeah, I needed to bring that in. And apparently he was working on this song concept since 2008.
Wow.
Which is crazy as well. So there
yeah,
we go.
Very interesting. I mean, yeah, it definitely is one of the more slept on Cole tracks. But next up for me, I'm going to take it back a couple of decades. Go to the 90s for Me and My Girlfriend by Tupac. This is a classic Tupac song off of the Don Illuminati, The 7 Day Theory. And surprisingly, it has like 68 million streams. It's not one that people are really junking like that. I thought it was way more popular just because you catch that earworm so easily, especially when you're just starting to listen to like those very interesting guitar riffs. that are really catchy, that make up the beat, and also that memorable hook of "All I need in this life of sin is me and my girlfriend," which artists like Jay-Z, Beyonce would go on to interpolate, and so many other artists would go on to sort of replicate that chorus and that hook. But the song is mind blowing, of course, because it's a metaphorical track where Tupac personifies his gun as his girlfriend. And I love rhymes that apply to both so closely, where he's really playing that fine line, like "touch you in every secret place, I could hardly wait to bust freely, got you red hot, you so happy to see me." And within the track, you're getting intense delivery from Tupac. You could tell that, he was really in that mode of, being fearless and not making anyone fuck with him. What I also like is the cinematic aspects of the track too, because you have Virginia Slim, who's playing the character of the gun, who has like these interludes in between the
Yeah.
verses. So I love the creativity within the concept there, and yeah, just the concept's really dope. It's about how like Tupac is like, sort of like making a pro-gun claim in the sense of like, listen, for me, it's almost impossible to live without my gun. It's my go-to. It's my protection. It keeps me safe. So it was cool to see that perspective take shape within the track. And like I said, it almost feels like an "I Gave You Power" track in
Type of
terms of the
track.
concept. And my next song that I'll speak about after you go on with your next one also plays in with like gun, bullet, metaphor, wordplay. So I'll get into that a bit later.
All right, let me keep going on with this. Let's go into Leslie by Dave off of Psychodrama.
W.
Beautiful song, with a tragic ending to it. And I think when you look at hip hop music and what it stands for, this song is really at the forefront of that. You're getting 6 complete verses from Dave. One of the best displays of lyricism I've ever seen from a rapper as far as storytelling cuts go. And it has an incredibly powerful message attached to it. So, Leslie by Dave is about, the track is about a woman that's in an abusive relationship with her boyfriend and the types of things that she has to go through while doing that. And this woman is pregnant and she's in this place where, she can't go out. She's trapped. Her boyfriend is abusive with her and physically abusive. And it gets to a point to where she ends up in a coma and her jawline is absolutely shattered. And basically the message that Dave is trying to portray, or trying to communicate, should I say, with the audience and with women themselves is, there's always another route than feeling trapped. There's a way out. And he also said with this song that like he can never understand what they feel. And I feel like as a man, like I can't either. But it was just more of like this get it off the chest sort of moment for Dave, where he wanted to speak for women that were in this tight and battered situation. It's extremely heart wrenching as a song itself. It's mind blowing because of the twists and turns you go through within all 6 verses itself. The instrumental is extremely melancholic. It feels very depressing. There's this piano line that goes through it, and it just sets mood so well throughout the song itself. And I think it's his magnum opus. I think when you really look at Dave's catalog, and if you want a reason to get into Dave's music, let's say, I don't know, you're not from the UK and you're looking for, let's say, exterior sounds to get into, like, this is a perfect track to consider because it plays very close to American hip hop, and it's going to leave your mind blown as you go through it. And it's going to make you think for the rest of the day, after you listen to this type of track. So I absolutely love it, and I wanted to bring it in for today.
Yeah, I think Dave should get more respect just for being, one of the only new age rappers that's really carrying that mantle of like storytelling in his music. So that's great. Next up, I got "Straight Bullet" by Organized Confusion, 1994. This is a
Never heard
song
it.
by rap group Organized Confusion off of their album Stress the Extinction Agenda. And like I said, just finished speaking about me and my girlfriend. This song has a similar concept. So the song has Pharaoh Monch and Prince poetry detailing the journey of a bullet from a gun, from the perspective of that bullet after being fired from the gun. So once again, right here, it's the concept itself that is mind-blowing because there's gruesome bars that demonstrate the horrors of gun violence. And that was sort of the purpose of the track, was to be like, this is the mass effect that 1, 2, or 3 bullets being fired could have on a community. And you're getting bars like, "'cause for some little girl, she'll never see more than 6 years of life, trifling when she fell from the seesaw, but wait, my course isn't over. Fled out the other side of her head towards a red Range Rover, then I ricochet. And throughout this, you're getting these incredible internal rhymes, very good technical rapping, which makes it even more of a gem for the history of hip hop. And what's cool is that you're getting an instrumental that's very bouncy, but very dark. You hear gunshots, you hear people that are in the stress in the background. So it has those cinematic sound effects that a lot of our favorite storytelling tracks have as well. And what's very interesting and something that people don't know is that this song directly influenced Nas's I Gave You Power and possibly Me and My Girlfriend as well, since it came out later. So this was a very groundbreaking track for its concept at the time that it came out in 1994.
W.
So yeah.
All right, let me keep going on with this. Exhibit A by J Electronica.
Nice.
Fucking mind-blowing track, bro. And the reason why I think I wanted to bring it in today is because a lot of people if you are hip to J Electronica, the song that you're probably most mind-blown by is Exhibit C, right? And that's the one that gets marveled at. But bro, the lyricism on this song is fucking stupid. I brought in this song because I genuinely think like this is one of the best like pure rap songs of all time when it comes to technical
Bro,
skill.
he had to make an album of like Exhibit like A to G or something. Like
Dude.
if he was like making an album while he was in that mode,
I
crazy.
spit that Wonderama shit and my conglomerate. I don't even know.
Conglomerates.
Yeah, conglomerates shall remain anonymous, caught up in the finest shit. Get that type of media coverage Obama get. Spit that Kurt Vonnegut, that blow your brain Kurt Cobain, that Nirvana shit.
Ugh.
Who gonna bring back the game? Who gonna spit that rammer on the train tracks? Crazy, bro. Stupid. I'm telling you guys, like it's mind blowing, bro. It's fucking mind blowing. The candy, they say Candyman, spit me a dream, blow a chunk of the levee out and spit me a stream, knock a man's house down and build a casino, bro.
Stupidity. It's just
$1,000
stupidity.
government check from the FEM. Oh my god, bro.
Yeah.
I swam down Shit's Creek and came up clean with a new with a new lease on life like Andy Dufresne's.
Yeah, bro. It's cultural reference after cultural reference, double entendre after triple entendre. It's just
Things will never be the same. I got the rap gang singing at last like Etta James Lames. Get they plane shot down like John McCain.
yeah, it's some other shit.
Bro, no. It's mind blowing.
We were robbed of one of the what could have been one of the best careers in hip hop history.
But you know what's
bro.
crazy is that like Exhibit C is more from like a philosophical sort of like uprising sort of level that describes like his life of coming from like New Orleans up in the rap game. This is just pure dominance, bro. It's pure beast mode, and of course the Just Blaze production adds so much to it, bro. It is genuinely on the same level as an Exhibit C, and like if you guys haven't revisited it in a long time because it did release like 15 years ago, go back.
Yeah,
Go back and
absolutely.
listen. You guys need to listen to the lyricism on this song.
All right, but next up, I got 16 by Rick Ross. What are you
Okay,
gonna say?
wait, one last thing, bro.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
the reason why this is mind blowing as well. Apparently, Just Blaze and J Electronica recorded this song in a fucking attic in Detroit, bro. That was the last little fact that I wanted to add to this. Yeah, it's
pretty
mind blowing as
fucked,
a
yeah.
concept. Anyways, go on to 16.
Yeah, so 16 by Rick Ross featuring André 3000 came out in 2012. And I remember we did a video on the best and worst features from different rappers. And André 3000 was one of the rappers we were speaking about. And both of us completely neglected to even mention 16 as an honorable mention. Then I saw the comments just flooding it. And I'm like, fuck, you know what? Like, I've heard the song, I've heard the feature, I just haven't heard it in a very long time. I was a bit hazy on it. So then after seeing that reception in the video, I'm like, I gotta junk this song. And then just mind fucking exploded after hearing that André 3000 verse. And this song is over 7 minutes long, and the concept of the track, or at least I want to say more or less what the hook comprises of and what they're trying to say is that, like, you know, sometimes 16 bars isn't enough to get off what you're trying to get off and to really speak the message you want to speak. And this song is about lyrical freedom. It's about taking the time to complete a thought on wax, and that's what they do here. You're getting one of the best verses of Rick Ross's entire career, something that I would put alongside what he did on Devil in a New Dress, like really that strong of a Ricky Rose verse, the flair, the pop culture references, that feeling of opulence that he gives you on a Devil in a New
He's so
Dress.
good at that, man.
It's all present on this song as well, bro. The production by Justice League is magnificent. You're getting this beautiful saxophone that makes up the backbone of the beat. You're getting these moody jazz keys and just stunning instruments, bro, that really blow you away. And then, of course, the big moment of the track is when André 3000 decides to pop his head in, and he starts off reminiscing back to his 14-year-old self, listening to him describe his dreams over time with lyrics like, I don't budge, don't want much, just a roof and a porch and a Porsche and a horse, and unfortunately, but of course, an assortment of torches that scorches the skin. And the verse is pretty much about how we all lose our innocence at some point, and it's sort of like the perception of how beautiful the world seems to be from childhood, and how it sort of becomes a bit darker and darker as you age in life. And it's extremely deep. It's extremely relatable to almost any human being, just because as we age, we learn more, and we're able to see more and more reality. Like the whole idea of like ignorance is bliss starts to fade away as you age, of course. And then you're getting lyrics like, a lousy job, how's he God if he lets Lucifer let loose on us? The noose on us won't loosen up, but loose enough to juice us up.
Top five of all time, bro.
He's something
Yeah, he's
else.
a top 5 rapper.
And if that verse wasn't enough, he ends up having a guitar solo at the end of the track and just fucks around and plays the banjo. It's him.
His guitar.
It's his guitar solo.
Fuck it.
The guy is just a wizard, bro. It's peak music. This is peak music.
W. All right, let me keep going on with my next one. I absolutely adore this song, bro, and like you're left mind blown because of how good you feel after it, especially if you've ever been in this situation. I Don't Care Anymore by Phil Collins, released in 1982 off of his
Peruvian Cocaine by Immortal Technique came out in 2003. This is a song by master storyteller Immortal Technique from his 2003 album Revolutionary Volume 2. And a lot of you guys are familiar with Dance with the Devil by Immortal Technique, another mind-blowing song, and we included that in that video we had done on YouTube a couple of years ago. And if you're not that familiar with Immortal Technique, or all you heard from him was Dance with the Devil, I'm here to tell you, like, dive in fucking deep, because he has a lot of tracks that are on that pedestal of like excellent storytelling, and this is another one of those tracks. The song displays the inner workings of the cocaine trade from like multiple perspectives from everyone who's involved. So you're getting the workers who are busting their ass in the coca fields, to the drug lords, to the street dealers, to the politicians. Like, you're really seeing how this empire is built, how it's shaped, how the relationships are between the different sort of like pecking order that's at play. And the instrumental is beautiful. It's inspired by the Scarface soundtrack. You hear some flutes, you hear some like tribal South American sounding music. It's beautiful, and there's 7 different rappers featured on this song, and they all have a different character to play, whether it be a politician, whether it be someone working in the coca fields, whatever the case may be. So the way they interact with each other is brilliant, because the story follows, it's sort of like one verse responding to the previous verse, you could say. And it feels like a theatrical play more than it does a hip-hop song, and you're getting these vivid bars, you're getting this writing that is just impeccable. And I'm not going to reveal like exactly what's in the verses. I think you guys could check that out for yourselves to see how the story kind of comes to a close. But just mind-blowing concept, and it makes you think that, like, when it comes to putting a fully fledged idea together, you don't find many people like Immortal Technique out there. So shout out to him.
Huge W. All right, my next song, The Power of Equality by Red Hot Chili Peppers. This is the introduction track. I believe on is this their studio album? Hold on a second. Let me check that for you. No, it's not, but their 1991 album, Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic. I love this album. It was my first album I ever heard from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and this is a beautiful track, bro. And like, if you guys are fans of, let's say, Public Enemy, if you guys are fans of Rage Against the Machine, then this track is going to be right up your alley, because the song is very unique. Let me start off with that, because there's so many different elements of funk, but also like hard rock that's implemented into this track. So automatically the production and the aesthetic and sonics of the song itself are mind-blowing, but just the types of topic matter that they're going through, like anti-racism and, talking about all types of different socio-political issues. It's just like line after line of putting you on game and making you try to wake up to what's going on in this world. And I found it so unique as a song concept, because back in the 90s, like, there was obviously certain bands that were pushing this narrative forward, but, Red Hot Chili Peppers did this with such style, such flair, and such a unique aspect that I feel like I've never heard a track like this in my life. And crazy. I got a wealth from the Bible belt, dealing with the hand that I've been dealt. I'm sitting in the grip of a killing fist. I'm giving up blood just to exist. Rub me wrong and I get pissed. I know I cannot get to this. People in pain, I do not dig for it. A change of brain for Mr. Bigot. Bro, crazy and future forward thinking writing on this track. It leaves your mind blown, and it's maybe an introduction into this album for you guys, because I've always been a fan of this album, and you guys are going to enjoy it as well. Blood Sugar Sex Magic is such a great listen, so enjoy this from you guys.
W. All right, number 3. Well, I should say my third left. Get Up by Clipping, 2014. I've heard a lot of hip-hop heads saying that I should check out this alternative hip-hop group for the longest time. They have earned a lot of respect in the community, and I came across a video for a song called Get Up by Clipping one day, and I'm like, fuck it, let me check it out. Then it blew my mind, and I'm happy that I listened to it, because now
Cats
I have
musical?
that itchy
I know,
thing
you
when
guys are
actually
about cats, but I
go
thought
through their
there was a
full,
rule about clipping.
album
We have a cat in our-
experience, see
one of
what
our
they
press
have to
photos.
offer,
Oh, yeah.
on that level.
Could you just
And
replace us
this
with 2
song
chains?
is rapped by the lead vocalist of the group, who goes by the name of David Diggs. And it's
I feel like we've
produced by
probably
members
had
Jonathan Snipes,
conversations
Hudson,
about a
and
theme park we
mind-blowing
wanted to open.
about this song.
No, it wouldn't be
is
a theme park,
the
it would just be
foundation
a
of the
tiki
beat,
bar.
because David
It's
is
a
rapping
haunted house
over,
/ tiki bar.
an alarm clock.
Any objections?
No, I'm totally there for that.
Don't steal that idea. I'm going to open that if I ever fall ass. If I fall ass backwards into a ton of money, I'm going to open a haunted tiki bar.
Yeah, copyright, internet.
What's crazy is that he's able to find these precise pockets within this alarm clock sample.
No,
Able to like
Yes, the male ego.
time, but still manage to be on the beat
I have
of
a
the
scar
alarm
inside
clock.
one of
Like,
my
the way he
eyebrows
attacks
that's
the
still
beat
kind of visible
is really,
from when our
really
good friend Jim Merson
impressive,
headbutted me. I was
something
standing right
matters
over
to-
him singing. He
something
didn't
else you
notice.
gain out of this is
Came up real
rapping about a
fast.
husband
Does
and
your
wife,
hair
how
not
hard
grow
they
there?
need
Do you have
to
like a
work
line,
to
like a
provide.
vanilla
It's
ice line?
less visible than it used to be. I think it's the right
But
one. I think it's my right eyebrow.
Yeah, I have a chip too. This is a clipping scar. I use this shit from when I used to jump down in the crowd to do story, and went during our much earlier mosh pitier shows before all the Hamilton fans. And they,
And when our own fans were really, really pointy 17-year-olds.
and yeah, one time I jumped down and like somebody just like headbutted the microphone into my mouth.
Surprisingly,
It happened like twice in a row with the same tooth, like back-to-back shows. Like maybe I need to stop jumping down into the audience. Maybe I'm too old for this.
What's the word I'm looking for? The articulation doesn't suffer throughout these fast flows, and that's something that often will bother me about certain rappers, where they're rapping too quickly just for like the aesthetic of it, just for like having that fast rap style.
Yeah.
But here, every single word is heard with clarity, sort of like when 3 Stacks raps really quickly. But yeah, Get Up by Clipping. If you've heard of Clipping and you haven't known where to start to get into their catalog, this is a great place for that.
W. All right, let me keep going on with this list. Let me go on to my number 9 selection. This is going to be 2007 by JAD, which ended up making it as a bonus track off of the Forever Story. And this song was sought after even before it was released, because there was rumblings of it coming out. People had heard different versions of it, and people were just genuinely disappointed when it didn't make the track list at first when the Forever Story dropped in 2002, and it's for a good reason. It's JAD's the last call almost, so it feels like it's his victory lap. It's him going over all the types of shit that he went through in order to get to the top of the game. And also, you have J. Cole in the song itself giving you the backstory of how he signed JID and like what was the first time they met them at. And like JID also goes over that he was playing football at a time. He was on a full scholarship. It wasn't working out for him. He was more interested in rap. His parents kicked him out because, they didn't see him doing too well. And he really believed in himself, and he brought it to a whole different level. Him opening up for Omen and like what that did for him, and like the avenues that Dreamville gave him, the advice that Absol gave to him in the studio, him bumping, the warm up when he had first started. Like, dude, there's so much that goes into JID's story, and I feel like it's perfectly described throughout this. And the fact that there's so many different people that come into the song itself. You have Jit's father that comes in like midway through the track and talks about how, he kicked them out, but the types of morals and values and lessons that he brought to him when he was trying to come up, like, it's a mind-blowing track, bro. There's so much that goes into it. It explains the inception of JID and why he does what he does musically. And I feel like for an artist as talented as JID, for someone that's pushed a needle as far as him, for someone that's kept the sport of rap alive for this long, like, this is a mind-blowing fucking track. To be able to get the origin story is so fucking cool. And I feel like, unlike Last Call, you have different people that come in. You have his father and J. Cole that actually come in and chime in different sections of the track itself. It's fucking beautiful. So there we go.
Top 3 off the album?
In my opinion, yes. Writing-wise, I don't think you can compare. I think it's a better storytelling track than Crack Sandwich.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, depending how you look at it. But yeah, that's a deserving pick. But you mentioned Absol, and that takes me to my next song, The Book of Soul by Absol.
Crazy.
2012.
Wicked record.
Yeah, insane. Love the instrumental, love the moodiness, how melancholic it feels. And what's crazy is that I didn't realize this until doing a bit of research for this song, but it actually is built upon the sample of an MF Doom beat, which is called Burdock Root. And it twists it up, it adds some cinematic strings to it, and they really transformed it. And they transformed it into being an even better beat than what MF Doom had originally produced, in my opinion. So shout out to the producer, Tommy Black. But this feels like Absol packed his entire life's trauma into 5 minutes. Literally, like he starts off rapping about catching Stevens-Johnson syndrome at the age of 10 and goes into like really extreme detail about how it messed up his appearance and how it hurt his luck with women. And he just goes like sort of like moment by moment in his life about what's really, scarred him and what's really burdened him. And then he starts to reflect back on his relationship with the woman he claims was the love of his life, who goes by the name of Alori Joe, who he met in high school, and how much pain he endured after she took her own life. And essentially what you're getting is lyrics like, in 2012, my world ended. So ultimately, it's one of the saddest but like most nuanced accounts of grief I've ever heard in a hip hop song or in any song at all, for that matter. And he sort of ends off the song by addressing his relationship with God, and how that's played a role in him trying to cope with all of these losses and try to make him understand why these things have happened to him. And the song will give you chills. Like I said, it's absolutely packing his entire life's trauma into just a couple of minutes, and it really does. It stays with you. This is a song that you can't forget. Tommy Black.
It was Tommy Black that did it, eh? Yeah, it's a wonderful song, bro. It's such a unique song concept, and I just love how honest and raw it feels, bro, as a song for his catalog. But all right, I'm going to end off today with my last song. This is going to be my 10th. Thank you guys for sticking with me throughout this entire episode. This is going to be Testified by Common off of B. I feel like this is...
Last song for today is going to be Hello by LZ. Came out in 2016. This is a song by Detroit underground rapper LZ, and it was produced by Soul Dad Brother, who brings in an instrumental that has some nice lo-fi vibes, some boom bap drums. And the song, once again, like most of the songs on my list, it's mind-blowing for its concept. And this one is one where you have LZ speaking directly to the listener and demands their attention. It's a song that's meant to sort of like call out passive listening in hip-hop and people that sort of like skim through a track and don't really pay attention to what's being said, what the importance of the production is, whatever the case may be. And it's him championing lyricism. And for LZ himself, it also feels like he's being slept on. This is meant to be sort of a wake-up call to people that are listening, and to try to get people that aren't to pay attention to him and what he's doing, because of his talent and because he does deserve arguably more light than some of his peers, you could say. And that's definitely how he feels. And there's great metaphors throughout the song about how LZ's messages can get lost in his notebook. Like, for example, when he raps, "So now I'm chased by this run-on sentence. I ran so fast, I leaped from the page. That's when the paper split." Or how the beat might distract you from what he's saying, like, "Now I'm clashing with cymbals while trying not to get beaten by the bass." The song just carries a very important message for the state of hip-hop, even 10 years later at this point. And I think it was even a call for people that complain about mainstream music, and it's sort of like inviting them into the array of quality you can find within the underground. And that's what he tried to accomplish with the song. And I just love the idea of him really taking that perspective of, I'm speaking directly to you. Like, all that separates us is the speakers you're listening to this from. So genius concept. But yeah, man, that's gonna sum up the episode for today. We brought in 20 different songs. And listen, we could even do this a third time probably, because
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
There's so many tracks you guys can be blown away by, and these were just some of them. Hopefully you guys find some value out of them. Hopefully we introduce you guys to some songs you never heard before. But if you guys didn't know, of course, we're doing these episodes every single Tuesday. So make sure to follow us on Spotify, on Apple, wherever you guys get your podcast. If you aren't already, leave us a 5-star rating and drop a review if you have the time. It means the world to us, and it helps us not only climb the charts, but even just spread the word about what we're doing on this pod. So thank you guys so much for sticking with us until the end, and we'll see you next